Welcome into the Slobberknocker Sports Podcast, episode 99. We are one away from triple digits here at the Slobberknocker Sports set. We've been doing it for almost 3 years, and we're approaching episode 100.
Is that true? Almost 3 years?
This is year 3, isn't it? Yes,
Got it.
we're in year 3.
Got it.
We are in the
year
third
3. Okay.
Now that we've
Brian Kelly was in year 3 when he got fired at LSU, right?
I think it's year 5. What? I don't know. He got hired in 2021. Maybe it's year 4. Year 4.
Is it year 4?
He didn't quite make it as far as he made it a year longer. We'll see if we're still going at this time next year. If we are, then we'll outlast Brian Kelly. We'll get to the Brian Kelly firing, which happened yesterday. We'll get to all the college football storylines, wild finishes. Vanderbilt picks up another big win. Texas with a crazy comeback. A&M stomps LSU and kicks Brian Kelly out the door in Baton Rouge. A lot of stuff to get to in college football. The Cowboys shit the bed yesterday, as they normally do. We had a good Sunday night game last night with the Packers and Steelers. So a lot of stuff to cover. Before we do all of that, make sure if you're new to the channel, like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff. I'm going to start before we get into a bad beat, and I have a bad beat that is, or a swan dive that is an all-time swan dive.
Oh, yeah, I knew they were up 7-0, yeah.
This one is, like, if you had Stanford in that game, you strongly consider jumping off a bridge. I will get to that in a second. Before I do that, I'm going to get to my Brookie of the Week. Okay?
Brookie of the Week has to be Brookie.
Well, let's start there. Okay? So Brooklyn, who we named the award after, which the award is in front of Turner's computer right there.
Toughest fucking dog on the planet.
So she had been attacked 2 times by 2 different dogs. One dog grabbed her neck, swung her across the room. She didn't give a shit. She's bleeding everywhere. She's fine, recovered. A couple years later, my dog Westbrook, rest in peace, tried to take Brooklyn out, broke her neck. Brooklyn said...
Did her neck really break?
Yes, she broke her neck.
Oh, my God.
Her neck still has a hump in it.
Yeah, no, I noticed that.
And she fought through it. She lost half of her ear due to cancer. The dog is the grittiest thing we've ever seen. She's still crawling. And then this last week, Jude, my dad's favorite child, tried to take Brooklyn out again. Multiple bites, gashed her, and Brooklyn just keeps going. She's completely fine. She's healing. What a gritty dog. And so what a performance by Brooklyn this week. But in honor...
That's my Brookie of the Week award, Brooklyn.
There you go.
The namesake of the trophy.
She deserves
Survived
it.
another attack.
But in honor of her, I'm going to give it to somebody this week. And we're actually going to go to the NBA. Our San Antonio Spurs are a perfect 3-0. Great start to the season. No thanks to Mitch Johnson. And I want to give my Brookie of the Week to a Vanderbilt alum by the name of Luke Cornett. Luke Cornett against the Pelicans. How about this stat line? 14 points, 12 rebounds, 4 assists and a block, 6 of 9 from the field. He's the definition of grit. What a performance by Luke Cornett. That stat line makes me drool. I mean, if we can get 14 and 12 from Luke Cornett, his defense was phenomenal. He came off the bench. We were playing him and Wemby together, and I think the nickname Sean Elliott gave him was French Vanilla. That's going to be the little combo between them. I like that nickname. But you got to love that the white big man is still alive and well in the NBA. It's a beautiful thing, let me tell you. So, Luke Cornett, Brookie of the Week. Congratulations. A well-deserved award. And we may need to get a Luke Cornett jersey on this podcast set. I'm just saying. But Brookie of the Week.
I thought you were going to give
Luke
it to
Cornett.
Wemby. He's been unbelievable.
Well,
I think he was like, I don't know what the odds were originally at the start of the season for him to win MVP. He was probably like 7 or 8 to 1. And they were saying on one of the shows, I think he's like plus 260 now to win it after the first 3 games.
Yeah.
I guess people were like, oh, okay. I guess Wemby is ready to win MVP.
Well, he is, and I think the question, too, was, like, can the Spurs finish in the top 3 or 4 in the West? Because I think they're going to have to do that. Like, the only player to win an MVP to finish outside the top 4 in the standings of their conference in the last, 15 years is Russell Westbrook. They finished 6th, and he won because he averaged a triple-double.
I think Wemby could win it if the Spurs finish 6th. I think his stat line's going to be that good. He's going to average he's averaging more blocks than anybody in the league. He's going to average probably 30 points a game.
Yeah, I mean right now.
I mean, what is he right now?
Right now he's averaging 34.5 points per game, 13 rebounds, 6 blocks, 1 steal, 1.5 assists. He's shooting 64% from the field and 80% from the free throw line.
I mean, obviously those numbers aren't,
they're They're not sustainable.
percentage. Yeah, they're not sustainable. But I still think he's going to end up getting like 30 a game, 13 with maybe an average of 4 blocks. I mean, I don't know, something like that. And I think that wins you the MVP.
I think it's going to be 28 to 30.
I mean, no one wants to give it to Shea again anyway, and he's probably going to, he'll get 30 whatever a game and grab no rebounds and have a couple assists. But yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, it's going to be Shea. It's going to be, of course, Nikola Jokic, but Jokic in 2 games hasn't looked that great. 17.5 points per game. And 13.5 rebounds.
He's ready to retire, bro.
Oh, man, I didn't see this. He actually is averaging 12.5 assists. He is averaging a triple-double. Actually, it was pretty funny. The other day, I watched them play a game in, they were playing the Lakers, and they blew it. I think they went to overtime. They blew the game, and in the last few seconds, they were down by 4, I think. It was 4 or 5, and there was, maybe 20 seconds to go, and he shot a 3 and missed it, and the Lakers got the rebound. The game was, essentially over. And he started walking off the court with 20 seconds to go. Austin Reeves weaved right past him. He was walking towards the bench with 20 seconds to go. I mean, he absolutely gave up. He was like, no, I'm done.
How much time was left?
There was 20 seconds left. He starts walking. He just completely ignored Austin Reeves going by and made a layup. Game was over.
I like that.
But anyway, one other note to get to, and that's the Dirty Sanchez Award of the week. And we're going to give that one to my boy, Spencer Rattler. Improved his all-time record now to 1-14, I believe it is, which is the 4th worst winning percentage in NFL history for a starting quarterback to have at least 10 starts in the NFL. Very impressive. He was 15 for 21, efficient, 136 yards, no touchdowns, an interception and a fumble. He was benched for rookie draft pick Tyler Shuck. He really is one of the worst quarterbacks in NFL history to start at least 10 games. And in honor of that, I'm going to do a top 5 list, or what should be called a bottom 5 list. We're going to go with the 5 worst quarterbacks in NFL history to start at least 10 games. All right?
Nathan Peterman.
He didn't start at least 10.
He didn't? Yeah, probably not.
So, again, we're going to go 5 worst quarterbacks to ever start at least 10 games in the NFL. Coming in at number 5, Dan Orlovsky. He loves to come on TV and tell you how bad everybody else is and how good everybody else is, and he loves to break down the plays. Well, just keep in mind that Dan Orlovsky was 3-23 as a starter in the NFL.
No, it's not that bad. He was on the Lions.
15 touchdowns, 13 interceptions, started for 4 different organizations, the Lions, Bucks, Colts, and Texans, 58% completion. He only threw for 3,200 yards in 26 games with a passer rating of 75.8. Number 5, Dan Orlovsky. Coming in at number 4, a guy Bailey should recognize, a man by the name of Zach Mettenberger. Zach Mettenberger, 1-13 as a starter in the NFL, 12 touchdowns, 14 picks. You know where he started all 14 games? The Tennessee Titans. Those are Bailey said those are some dark times. They have not gotten much brighter since then. From what we've been witnessing the last couple of weeks.
I remember Mettenberger.
Coming in at number 3, none other than Spencer Rattler, 1-14 as a starter. 4th worst winning percentage in NFL history with at least 10 starts. He will never start another game after this season.
Shout out
Spencer. He really isn't even a backup in this league, and I think the Saints wanted to tank, and that's why he started. It doesn't make any sense otherwise. But number 3, Spencer Rattler, QB1, the Netflix show, made him famous, and he is now infamous as one of the worst quarterbacks to ever play in the NFL. Coming in at number 2, and these top 2 Turner should be very familiar with, Bailey. Number 2, DeShone Kizer, product of none other than Notre Dame. 11 touchdowns, 24 interceptions, 2-16 as a starter.
That was the worst. I mean, that was one of the worst. That probably was the worst NFL team of all time, that Browns team that went. How many games did they lose in a row?
It was 23.
Yeah.
And he's thrown more than double interceptions than he did to touchdowns in his career. 2-16 as a starter, career quarterback rating of 30, passer rating below 60. DeShone Kizer, number 2, and I'm only making him number 2 because his stats are worse than number 1, but his record's not as bad as number 1, and also he was on a worse team than number 1. Number 1, you know who it is?
Brady Quinn?
No.
I just said it was very familiar. It's Ryan Leaf.
Almost. Number 1. He didn't. I guess Ryan Leaf could be up there too. Number 1, Jimmy Clausen, 1-20 as a starter in the NFL.
Jimmy will forever be he never got a fair shake, dude.
Yeah,
those are some bad teams.
That's what it was.
Never had a fair shake.
It was the teams.
I can't believe Jeremiah, when he sees this, is going to get hot. He is not going to be happy.
Seven touchdowns.
You do not talk about Jimmy
Seven
Clausen.
touchdowns in 21 career starts, 14 interceptions, completed only 52% of his passes, a quarterback rating of 61.9, and he went to none other than Notre Dame. Number 1 and number 2 on the list.
Mel Kiper's favorite prospect of all time.
I believe it, yeah. Number 1 and number 2 on the list, both products of Notre Dame, and rightfully so. They're a shameful school, a shameful football program, and they belong in the bottom 2 all time. Those are 2 that may never be unseated. Spencer Rattler's challenging him. If he keeps going and keeps losing and gets to 1-20, maybe. But as of right now,
there's no way he's going to put up Clausen numbers. But Clausen was good. He just, like I said, didn't get a fair shake. Secondly, I thought, since we're talking Notre Dame, I thought for sure they were going to get into the playoff at 10-2. But you got to put up that Pope clip deal of KB from Barstool.
Yeah.
Apparently, they're going to have 9 wins.
The last 4 years, this is a real stat. And credit, I'll give credit where it's credit to Barstool, to KB, who came up with this stat because he found this stat. I heard it on Instagram. But the last 4 years that a Pope has died, Notre Dame has then won 9 games the following year. And they currently have 2 losses. They lost their first 2 games. Everybody thinks they're going 10-2 and getting in the playoffs.
They won't.
Not so fast, my friend. And if you look at their schedule, it's hard to find a loss, right? It's hard to find a loss. The last legitimate, game I thought they could lose was USC, and that game was relatively close. The rest of the way, they go at Boston College on a neutral versus Navy, at Pittsburgh versus Syracuse, at Stanford. I don't know where the loss is. Maybe Navy, but look, when the Pope dies, he finds a way.
Pittsburgh somehow.
He finds a way to make sure Notre Dame only wins 9 games. So Notre Dame, bet it right now, lock of the century to miss the playoffs because they will not get in at 9-3. All right, lock of the century. It's backed by years of data, but moreover, the spirit of the dead popes.
Yes.
All right. We've gotten through all that stuff.
Shout out Jimmy Clausen. Man, what a player.
Jimmy.
I hope we'd have him on the show. Dude, you don't ever tear down Jimmy Clausen. It's like your dad says you don't ever tear down Caleb. Jimmy was the man.
Well, Caleb's on his way to being on that list pretty soon, too.
Oh, please.
Okay. I have a bad beak, a swan dive. I mentioned it earlier. We're going to get to it right here. Okay, so we're going to go to an ACC matchup. All right, Stanford taking on Miami. All right, in an ACC game. Now, keep in mind, Stanford upset Florida State last week as an 18.5-point underdog. They are a 30.5-point underdog here, and we're going to pick it up here second quarter. You can see Andrew Luck, my guy, my favorite guy, over here on the sideline. Miami is losing 7-0. They have a 3rd and goal at the 4-yard line. And this ball is going to go to the end zone to C.J. Daniels. Carson Beck finds Daniels in the end zone with 1:15 to go in the first half to tie the game. Again, keep in mind, if you have Stanford, you're catching 30.5, and you are winning 7-0. We're going to fast forward to the third quarter, okay? And here we're going to see Mark Fletcher get close to the goal line on 1st and goal. Next play, Fletcher going to punch it in for a touchdown, and now it's 14-7. But you're 10 minutes to go in the third. You're catching 30.5. You're still in a great spot, okay? This is the first time, by the way, Miami led in 6+ quarters on that touchdown by Mark Fletcher.
When is Black Jesus going to score? Where's Malachi?
Well, hold on. I don't think he does. Now,
what?
It's a 4th and 1 here for Miami with 6 minutes to go in the third, and they get stuffed at the 20-yard line. All right, you're catching 30.5. You stuff them, okay? Pick it up a few minutes later.
A pick six.
All right, Bo Brawson. Sorry, Bo Branson.
Yeah.
Back to throw. Throws a pick.
Yeah.
It's intercepted by Wesley Basante. He's going to return it all the way inside the 5-yard line. And now Miami's in business with 3:53 to go in the third. Next play, Beck to Fletcher. He's going to punch it in for another touchdown here, and now it's 21-7. You're still not really nervous, but Miami's starting to roll a little bit. Now you're down 14, but you're catching 30.5. You got 3 scores to work with. All right, it's a 3rd and 4 now with 2:38 to go in the third. Branson back to throw. Looking, he throws another interception. This one is picked by Xavier Lucas. And now, all of a sudden, Miami's 1st and goal again. Guess who they're going to go to? Mark Fletcher. He's going to find the end zone for the 3rd time this quarter. And now it's 28-7, and we're still in the third quarter. Now you're starting to sweat a little bit, right? But you're still catching 30.5. You got another touchdown to give up. There's the playmaker.
The original cocaine bear.
Michael Irvin, And you know when they're showing Michael Irvin, and by the way, he's sweating more than any of the players.
Cocaine, as Rick James once said, cocaine's a hell of a drug.
Yeah, it is. He's holding the 4 up. You know they're going for the cover here. All right, that's what that means. He has a lot of money on Miami to cover this game. Pick it up, 9:41 to go in the fourth quarter. Okay, they're going to give it to the backup running back here. All right, and they're going to get into the end zone and make this 35-7 with 9:34 to go in the game. Now one score beats you because now you're down 28.
Yeah, it's
all
over.
Right?
It's over.
So you think it was over, but the worst is yet to come. All right, Jordan Lyle gets in on a 17-yard touchdown. We're going to pick it up now. 6:30 to go in the game. Stanford down 28. Just punt the ball. Just punt the ball. It's fourth down and 5.
No. You go for it.
But no, Brands are going to drop back to throw here for Stanford. Frank Reich and the Cardinals signed up for 60. The ball's incomplete after it's batted down, and now Miami takes over with 6:19 to go. But they need a score here. You're probably never kicking a field goal. The rain is pouring down. The backups are in the game, okay? But Miami doesn't care. They're out there still slinging it. They're throwing screen passes. Here's one. It's going to go for 15. Out of bounds now inside Stanford territory, under 6 minutes to play. Fast forward from the 20-yard line. It's 3rd and 1. They're going to run it around the right side. Looks like he might get outside and score, but he's tripped and falls, okay?
Gerard, any good man takes a knee here.
2 minutes
but
to
not
go.
Mario
but
Cristobal.
we know Mario Cristobal, even when they're winning and they can take a knee and could lose, he doesn't. So now, on the first play out of the 2-minute warning, instead of taking a knee, they're throwing to the end zone. It's incomplete, though, with 1:54 to go. Okay? So you're still alive. 2nd and 10 now. They're interviewing Irvin on the sideline. They're going to hand it to Pringle on the right side. He breaks one tackle, and a shoestring tackle saves a touchdown. You're still alive. You're sweating bullets right now. It's 3rd and 2, inside the 5, under 1:10 to play. Pringle again, outside. Another good tackle. Can't tell, did he get the first down? Did he not? They ruled it a first down after discussion, and now the clock's ticking. It's ticking. We're under 34 seconds to play, but they're not taking a knee, and so Frank Reich calls timeout here. He calls timeout. All right, with 31 seconds to go. This is probably the last play of the game, right, timing-wise, and they're going to give it to Pringle, and it looks like Stanford has stuffed him, but they push him in the end zone.
Well, that's overwhelming.
Oh, my goodness, and all of a sudden...
I don't know why Frank called timeout there.
I don't know why he called timeout either, but why is Mario running the ball? And it's you had plus 30.5. You're winning 7-0 with a minute to go in the third, and you somehow lose 42-7.
Brutal.
Absolutely brutal. Gerard Pringle gets in the end zone, and your Stanford ticket is garbage.
That's a bad beat, Scott Van Pelt.
And I would understand ending it after that one. That's an all-timer right there. That's an all-timer. Could have taken a knee up by 28, and Frank Reich was not happy at the end of the game either. He gave Mario the death stare and the handshake. Yeah, all he said was good game and stared him down.
Well, because Frank's he's a good guy.
Frank's a good guy. Mario, scumbag. All right. That is the Swan dive of the week there, and we're going to go...
Yeah, that one was pretty bad.
Pretty bad. We're going to go
There's
into...
just no reason for that.
Well, it's what Mario does, all right? He's like, look, if I'm going to not take a knee against Georgia Tech and then lose the game because of it, I'm going to cover the spread for my backers in this one, all right? I'm not taking a knee here. I'm covering the 30.5. An improbable cover by Miami. If you had Miami, you did not deserve to win that. All right, let's go to the NFL here. Got a lot to talk about from yesterday. We'll just go through some of the main storylines, and we'll talk about some of the games coming up next week. We're shooting this on a Monday, so it's kind of a recap here. Let's start with what we always start with, the Dallas Cowboys. Once again, the Dallas Cowboys, every time they give you a little bit of hope,
they bring you right back down to earth.
They yank you right back down to earth, and they shit all over you, and that's what happened yesterday. And look, Dak Prescott wasn't great in the game, but I can't blame this on Dak. The defense gave up 44 points. All right? This defense is historically bad, as we've mentioned before. Yesterday, the Broncos, Bo Nix had 4 touchdowns, 247 yards passing. The team as a whole had 426 total yards, 7.5 yards per play. Okay? Outgained the Cowboys by 2.5 yards per play. That's hard to do in the NFL, especially against the top offense in football. Dak was 19-31 for 188 yards and 2 interceptions. Was not very good. And Dallas moved the ball in this game. They just turned it over and couldn't finish drives.
No, yeah, Dak was really bad.
Dak was bad, but you can't. But I'm not blaming this on Dak, right? Like the interception.
They were never going to win the game.
They were never winning the game. They couldn't get a stop. Denver was moving the ball at will, and we've been hearing these rumors about Max Crosby possibly being traded for. Would that be would that be worthless at this point? Should they even consider doing that?
Yeah, it'd be worthless.
Why would you even consider trade? I heard first and third is the demand they want for him. First and third.
It's about right. But yeah, no, you don't trade for him. The secondaries, I mean, just in shambles. I mean, they can't stop anybody. First of all, they have to fire Eberflus. There's no point keeping them. They just run zone every single play. Whether your corners can hold up or not, you got to do something besides bringing four that never get home and dropping back in zone coverage. It's a recipe for disaster.
Yeah.
That's why you see the Cowboys just being historically bad. I mean, sure, look, Crosby would help a little bit. I think you'd get at least somewhat of a pass rush, but the secondary's still not going to hold up. So
yeah.
I don't see the point in doing that. I think it's just a throwaway season at this point. I mean, I kind of thought that way before. Then they get to 3-3-1, and the offense is just humming. And then you play a good defense with Surtain out the whole second half.
Almost the whole game.
Yeah, he played a little bit in the first half, and then the whole second half he's out. I think it's a throwaway season. Obviously, they could be, if the offense keeps humming the way they have been, they could maybe you put like a 20 to 30% shot of them getting that like last spot into the playoffs. But regardless, they'll just get mollywopped by whoever the hell they play. So it's just, I would not give up a first and third round pick for Max. I guess the only counter argument is like, I don't know how many years of control you'll have of him. I did sign a new deal, I think, in Vegas, right? So
yeah,
guess you'd have him for a while. He's a great player, so
and
he'll cost him less than Micah, all that kind of stuff.
Cost him less than Micah, but let's say you trade for him. Let's say they even could trade, like it was worth it to trade for him. You just got 2 first-round picks and a player for Micah. You're going to give one of them and a third back for Crosby, who's 2 years older, not quite as good as Micah. It would be like, okay, so you just downgraded for one pick, kind of.
Right.
Like, I don't know if that's worth it. That said, yeah, we know Dallas is what they are. Like, at best, probably. And we talked about this last week. It's an up-and-down league. The Cowboys could win the next 2 games. They play the Cardinals and the Raiders. All of a sudden, they're 5-4-1 if they win those 2 games. And now we're like, well, could the Cowboys make the playoffs? So it's just how the NFL goes.
Right.
They're not a real contender. We talk about them because they're the Cowboys, and everybody talks about the Cowboys. They're America's team. Now, on the other side, the Broncos. The Broncos now improved to 6-2. They're a perfect 4-0 at home. Do you think? I think early in the year we both thought the Chargers were the team that could challenge the Chiefs in the AFC West. Is it fair to say that the Broncos are likely now the team that could win this division if it's not the Chiefs, more likely than the Chargers?
Yeah, I would say just because the Chargers are banged up. Defense hasn't looked great. Herbert's been playing phenomenal. Denver's has won 5 in a row now. But I just don't see it happening. Have they played yet? The Chiefs and Broncos have not played yet, correct? Or have they?
Have not. They have only played the only divisional game the Broncos have played is the Chargers, and they lost that game.
Right. I think ultimately you see the Chiefs get there. I think the Chiefs are going to finish, 12-5. And I think that's going to be good enough to win the division. I think the Broncos will be 11. It's going to be close, but I think the Chiefs ultimately get it done. They're playing really good football right now.
They're playing great, and if they win the night, which they should, with no Jaden Daniels for the Commanders, it's going to be they're going to be at 1 game out with 2 games remaining against Denver. So they control their own destiny still. They're not. It didn't look good early, and now all of a sudden they look like one of the best teams in the league. I think.
They should have beat that game at Jacksonville. They spotted them 13 points. Still probably should have won that game. Kind of manhandled the Lions in that game, who were looking like one of the best teams in football, and then blanked the Raiders. So.
We got a fun matchup next week with the Chiefs going to Buffalo. We'll actually talk about that game.
Yeah, they play they go Buffalo at Denver versus Indy, and Indy's been rolling. So,
dude, how dare you? What's the next one after that? At the Cowboys.
It's an easy win.
It's a tough one right there. It's
called a bye week.
It's going to be a shootout. All right, Dallas wins that game outright.
Chiefs will score 51 points.
They probably will. Okay, moving on from that game. We'll talk about a few more from yesterday, or at least a few storylines around the NFL. Jets get their first win of the season yesterday. How about
celebrated like they won the Super Bowl? Awesome, dude. People were crying out there, getting emotional.
Justin Fields was like, God is good. God is good. I just prayed this week. I was waiting for it. Like, he legitimately believed that it was all worth it, right? The 0-7 start, everything for that 1-point win. It was worth it for Justin. He got a win. He was average at best, 21 of 32 for 244 and a touchdown against one of the worst defenses in football. I mean, I think it's Cowboys, Bengals, Steelers are the three worst defenses in football right now.
Don't you disrespect the Steelers?
Do you know? I heard this on Colin Coward today. I didn't believe it. It's true. The Steelers have the worst pass defense in football. He goes, that means the Dallas Cowboys look at the Pittsburgh Steelers as like, we are better than you are. We actually are better than you.
True?
It's a real stat. The Steelers are the worst pass defense in football. They are. They're the worst pass defense in football.
I almost don't believe
Shout out
that.
Mike Tomlin. It's now been 3,214 days since his last playoff victory. The number will continue to climb. Shout out Mikey T.
9-8.
Well, we'll see. We got a Diet Coke bet on it. They're now 4-3. Thought they were going to be good. Aaron Rodgers didn't look too happy last night. Going to be a little bit of contention in that locker room coming up. Just saying.
No.
Pittsburgh might implode.
No way, dude.
Mikey Tomlin.
Rodgers is a team guy.
I'm just going down the line here. Patriots.
Patriots are good.
6-2.
But you know why they're good? Because they have Mike Vrabel.
Mike Vrabel is
and Drake Maye.
A leader of men. How about Drake Maye? And I said this 2 years ago. I said I think him and Jaden Daniels will be the two best quarterbacks in that class. I thought they're both better than Caleb.
Yeah.
And Drake Maye, you could make an argument, at least this year, has been better than Jaden Daniels. I know Jaden Daniels has been a little bit banged up, but Maye has been phenomenal. I mean, he really has. He's completing 75% of his passes. He's already thrown for over 2,000 yards, 15 touchdowns, only 3 interceptions. He uses his legs extremely well, multiple rushing touchdowns. Yesterday he ran for 50, right? I mean, yes, like you just said, in this league, if you have a good coach and you have a good quarterback, you can win. Now, the Patriots are also a product of a very easy schedule. They have played the Raiders, Dolphins, Steelers, Panthers, Bills, Saints, Titans, and Browns. The Bills are the toughest
at Buffalo.
game. They did win at Buffalo. That's a big win. But besides that, they have not beaten a team with a winning record.
The fact that you're trying to take away what the great Mike Vrabel's done.
No, I like Mike Vrabel. I like him.
It's disgusting.
I like Mike Vrabel. I don't think the Titans should have ever gotten rid of him. I'm just saying they have one of the easier schedules in football.
Goes without saying.
And when you look at the rest of the way, I mean, the Patriots are a playoff team. They're absolutely getting in the playoffs. They go Falcons at home at the Bucks versus the Jets, at the Bengals versus the Giants, Bills, Ravens, Jets, Dolphins. They're getting in. They legitimately could win this division if you think about it. I mean, the way Buffalo's defenses look, they already have a head-to-head over Buffalo. I don't think that's wild to say. You think they have a shot to win the division?
Yeah.
I think they could.
They already have a head-to-head against Buffalo. For
yeah,
sure.
and they beat them in Buffalo.
If they win that next time they play in New England, then they have a great shot to win the division, especially, like you said, when they play Atlanta and Tampa. I would imagine they split that. I think they'll find a way to win one of those. And then you go, like you said, Jets, Cincy,
Bengals, Giants.
Yeah, you're going to win at least 2 out of 3 of those. So, I mean, they're going to be in good shape. Good shape going to play Buffalo that second time.
And
they get to close, obviously, with the Jets and Miami. So, I mean, they could. What is their record right now? 2 losses, maybe 3 more losses in that record. I mean, 12-5.
Yeah. I mean, they're going to be up there. They're going to be probably hosting a playoff game at worst, right?
Yep.
Yesterday, another one. Tyler Huntley, backup quarterback. We thought Lamar was going to play kind of all week until Saturday.
Yep.
Discussions about the whole injury report deal with that, but beside the point.
What was the deal? He was just running the scout team, so they said that he was a full participant.
Correct.
That doesn't really count as a full participant.
Correct. And it's just like they were trying to not disclose that he wasn't playing. They knew he wasn't playing from the jump.
Yeah, but I think, honestly, I don't think that it really – I get that they want transparency and whatever, but I in this case, I actually think it was an honest mistake because I don't think there's really any reason to do that. When you're preparing for Huntley or Lamar, it's like Huntley is just a worse version of Lamar. He's going to run, whatever. You have to count for his legs. I don't think the game plan changes at all, in my opinion. But maybe you're going to have an extra guy in the box there,
Sure.
with Huntley, but make it tougher on Henry, which I'm sure that's what they did. But I don't think it made all that difference at all, much of a difference at all. And yeah, that was just a must-win game for the Ravens. They had to have that with Lamar out. So
it also shows it's interesting. You have Tyler Huntley, who last year was in Miami and looked incompetent in that offense. And it shows that when you get quarterbacks that fit your system, it really lends itself to that player being successful.
Right, and he was in Baltimore before, right?
He
knows it, yeah.
He knows the system, but he also is the same type of player as Lamar. He's an athlete. He uses his legs. He's not just a straight drop-back passer, right? They can run the RPO. He's a threat to run just like Lamar is. So it's a different type of player or different type of system than going to Miami where it's drop-back, quick decision, passing, read the defense. And we've seen this across the league, right? Like Baker Mayfield was in Cleveland, was terrible. He reinvents himself, goes with the Rams and McVay, has a little bit of success, then finds a spot in Tampa. We're seeing it with Sam Darnold, right? Couldn't win in New York. All of a sudden gets some time with, who was he with? Minnesota, and then goes over to now Seattle, and he's been great the last 2 years. We're seeing it with Dan Jones, right? He spent some time with Minnesota last year.
Danny Dimes.
And now look at Danny Dimes, 7-1. The Colts are a legit contender in the AFC, however you want to put it. They haven't beaten anybody, but they're still winning games.
There was a good take that somebody had the other day. It was talking about how bad Anthony Richardson must be, because they were talking about what Shane Steichen's done with quarterbacks, whether it be – he was there with Foles, right?
When he was the OC for the Eagles.
Then he moved to Foles. Was it Wentz, Foles, whatever? It's like – and now Danny Dimes, it's like the only guy that was not good under Shane Steichen is Anthony Richardson. Yeah. So he goes, that shows you how bad they missed on that pick.
That is a bad pick.
He was probably like, Steichen's so good, he was probably like, no, I can make it work, and he was just like finally like, no, I guess I can't.
I mean, they gave up on him pretty quick too. For a guy you picked that early to give up on him that quick, he must have been really fucking bad. And what we saw, he was that fucking bad.
It also helps. Look, here's the thing, it shows. You really are a lot of times a product of your situation, with Danny Dimes. First of all, never thought he was great, but all the Danny Dimes hate. Now, listen, did he make some bonehead decisions, whatever? Yes. But when you trade Saquon Barkley and you have the worst offensive line in the league with no receivers, how do you expect him to be able to do something?
Right.
And now he goes into a situation where he has okay receivers. It's a very okay receiving core, but a top 5 offensive line in football where you can just hand it to Jonathan Taylor and say, run behind Quentin Nelson for 10 yards, and things become a lot easier. So it's just a lot of these guys I feel like don't get a fair shake where they go, and that's, I'm happy for Danny Dimes and your Baker Mayfields of the world that end up places that were kind of, had an okay team and have turned their career around.
Yeah, and I think it, like you said, yeah, it's wide receiver dependent, it's offensive line dependent, it's coach and scheme dependent. There's a lot of factors that go into it. There are some guys like look at Bryce Young, right? Looked horrible the first couple of years. He looks like a half decent NFL quarterback now that he's got Dave Canales calling plays. They have a couple of receivers. The offensive line isn't horrific. We see it all over the place.
It's the first time I think that he's had the same guy calling the plays for 2 years. Right? So it's like
exactly.
Yeah, and that makes a big difference. Someone was actually talking about that with. Stroud gets a lot of abuse for sure. But with Stroud, that he's had, I believe, a new offensive coordinator every single year.
That's fair.
So it's like, well, he looked so good that first year, and then people are like, why is he so bad? Well, he had to learn a new scheme, and maybe it's just not clicking. You know what I mean? So, and he has flashes of brilliance, and he does some things where you're like, oh, he's horrible. So it's like, I think it's a lot that obviously is your average fan or whatever aren't looking at it. They're just like, hell no, he sucks. But it's like, Bryce Young seems to be a middle-of-the-road, serviceable quarterback now.
Well, and that's a good segue into the Texans, who got a big win yesterday. Obviously,
they're a weird team, man.
They are, and obviously, right, like, San Francisco has Mac Jones playing quarterback and is banged up all over the place. But nonetheless, Mac Jones has started multiple games this year, and they're 5-2 going into that game.
I believe they had won, several before going into that game?
Oh, yeah. They were
I can't remember what.
You mean in a row?
In a row, I thought.
Because
they lose
with
to
Mac Jones, they had won.
Yeah.
They had won 2 straight because the only game they didn't was against the Bucs, and that was when Purdy played.
Yeah.
And
Mac Jones beat the Rams and the Falcons.
I believe Mac Jones started. Did he start week 2? I believe he was 4-1 as a starter going into yesterday for the 49ers this year. So he's been playing good. And the Texans really dominated that game from start to finish. Question, and I know the Texans have been inconsistent, and I don't think there's any way they're catching the Colts, barring just epic implosion or serious injury to somebody on Indianapolis. But can the Texans sneak in the playoffs? They're 3-4 now. They're a game behind Jacksonville for second. When you look at the standings in the AFC, the teams that are like contenders to make the playoffs, right? We have New England and Buffalo in the AFC East. That's 2 teams. I would imagine the AFC North is only going to get 1, right? Whoever wins that division, Pittsburgh, Baltimore, Cincy. You have in the AFC West, Denver, the Chargers, and the Chiefs. Those are 3 contenders. That's 6. Indy is going to win that 7, and then Jacksonville and Houston are 8 and 9. So there's 2 of those teams
that
going to
get in, right?
Yeah, so there's 2 of those teams between New England, Buffalo, the winner of the AFC North, Indianapolis, Jacksonville, Houston, Denver, LA, and Kansas City. 2 of those teams are going to get left out. Do you think what would you say the odds of the Texans making the playoffs are at this point?
30%. I'd say like 1-3. I mean, I do think they'll ultimately catch the Jags. I think just on paper they're better than them. It's close. They're not much better. I have more faith. I really do think the Texans defense, when they're healthy, is pretty good. And, Stroud didn't even have Collins last game. And I don't know. The run game's really not there. It'll be interesting to see if Mixon comes back at the end of the year at all. A lot of people are thinking he's not going to play at all. But yeah, I'd say 30%. I would say more than likely not, just looking at it, because I assume the Ravens below them there at 2-5 are going to get far better. I do think they can pass the Jags, but they're not going to pass the Chiefs, right? So it would be pretty tough for them to get in, but I wouldn't say it's impossible.
Only
say 30%.
7 teams in the AFC have a plus point differential, have a positive point differential. Patriots, the Bills, the Colts, the Broncos, the Chargers, the Chiefs, and the Texans. The
Texans are plus 50.
The Jaguars have a -9. The Steelers are the only team who's not negative in the AFC or North, and they're even, right? So now one of those teams from the AFC North is getting in no matter what. But point being, the Texans are probably one of the top 7. They're probably the 7th best team, 7th or 8th. So they're right there. Obviously, the division, everybody gets a team in from each division. So I would agree. I'd say it's 30 to 40%. But, I think it's dependent. I think this next game is massive for them. They get the Broncos at home. The Broncos are 6-2. I think that's a must-win if they want to make the playoffs. They have to win that game, because if they win that game, they get the Jaguars at home and at the Titans. All of a sudden, you're 6-4. Now you're 50-60% to make the playoffs, right?
Yeah, they gotta really, if they're gonna make the playoffs, they have to win these next 3, because then they go
Bills, Colts, Chiefs.
Yeah, Bills, Colts, Chiefs.
And then
you're trying to steal like one of those,
right,
whatever, and then you finish with the Colts at home, maybe. But yeah, they're not going to catch the Colts.
You steal one of those, you're 7-6 going into that last stretch.
I would definitely say, like a 1-3 of them getting in the playoffs.
I think that's pretty fair.
They're not terrible, but
okay,
probably not.
Moving on down the line here, and we'll touch on one last thing, or we can go 2 more quick. On that same division, with Danny Dimes and the Colts being 7-1, but like I said, they've beaten nobody. Do the Colts have a legitimate shot to contend for a Super Bowl, or at least for the 1 seed in the AFC?
I would say they have a legitimate shot to contend for the 1 seed in the NFC the AFC, because they have a very, favorable schedule.
They do.
And
I believe
the division's pretty light, obviously. No offense, Bailey, but the Titans is basically a bye. They should.
Unless you're the Cardinals.
Yeah, exactly. And, I would say I don't think it's crazy with the way they're playing football and the way, you're looking at the AFC. I don't think it's crazy to say they're Super Bowl contenders, only because the way they run the ball. When you can run the ball like that, then it's,
Agreed.
You can beat anybody. The defense is playing decent enough. And I don't, there's no one jumping off the page as a juggernaut. I mean, if, gun to my head, if you had told me asked me who's going to win the AFC, at this point, I would probably, it's either the Bills or Chiefs, obviously. I would actually, from what I've seen recently, I know the Bills beat the shit out of the Panthers yesterday, but weirdly think it's the Chiefs this year, and I don't know why. Maybe it's just the defense.
No, I think they're better. I think they're
was
better
thinking
than the Bills
all the whole year, and then it's just
from what I've seen from Buffalo's defense so far this year. I don't have faith in that defense to be able to stop what currently is Kansas City's offense. Kansas City healthy with Rashee Rice, with Xavier Worthy, with 2 running backs in Pacheco and Hunt. That offense with Mahomes versus the Buffalo defense is a bigger advantage than Buffalo's offense against the Chiefs defense. I think that's pretty obvious.
And that's kind of my feeling as well. I would be interested to see who's favored. I wonder if it's still the Bills out of the AFC. I would currently
the Chiefs are the favorite, but this is to come out of the AFC to get to a Super Bowl, right? Not to win the regular season.
Right.
The Chiefs are plus 250. The Bills are plus 325.
Oh shit! So yeah, Vegas agrees.
And the Colts are plus 475.
Pretty heavily, they agree. Okay.
Who would you say? There are 5 teams favored above the Colts as in the Super Bowl odds right now. 5 teams: the Chiefs, the Lions, the Packers, the Bills, and the Eagles. Everybody else is below Indianapolis right now, or the Rams and the Colts are each 11-1. So everybody else is a longer odds.
I like that Rams 11-1.
Yeah, I think the Lions. I like the Lions even at plus 600. I think are still decent odds. I took them at like plus 1,000 to start the season. Okay, last thing, and we'll preview a couple quick NFL games. We'll go to college football. Packers win last night. They're 5-1-1 now.
Yep.
Not that the Steelers are great. Talked about how bad the defense is. Jordan Love looked better in the second half.
Was your dad singing the whole second half, or did he go to bed?
He went to the other room, and then I came in because I did the over. That was my big.
Oh yeah.
Remember, by the way, I went 3-1 yesterday.
There you go.
If the Chiefs cover 5.5, 4-1 in the NFL this week. Needed over 45, so we were watching. I came into their room and watched the game, and he wasn't singing anymore because my mom doesn't put up with that. But he was singing. What was he singing? "Here I Come to Save the Day."
Yes,
Andy Kaufman.
yes,
Every
yes.
time Jordan Love got a completion.
Yep.
So
True fan, Jordan Love. What a gunslinger.
Hard to watch games with big dogs sometimes. Regardless, the Green Bay Packers have been kind of an interesting team this year, like record-wise, right? They've got 1 loss, and the loss that they had, they should have won, right? They had a field goal to win the game with 30 seconds to go, missed it, and it led to the Browns kicking a 57-yarder to win it. They were up 10-0 with 5 minutes to go in that game, blew it and lost. If they don't blow that game, and then against the Cowboys, they're up 13-0, get an extra point blocked in return, flips the whole game, and end up tying 40-40 in one of the weirder NFL games this season.
Yep.
They're literally 2 plays really away from being undefeated. That said, I'm weirdly unimpressed with them. And I think that we just looked at the odds, and there's a reason they're not like one of the top favored teams, like top 2 or 3 favored teams, despite only having 1 loss this year. Part of it is who they've beaten, right? Steelers, Cardinals, Bengals, Commanders without Jaden Daniels. The only impressive win was week 1 against the Lions, and that was a weird outlier for the Lions in terms of the performance that they had. Do you think Jordan Love is a Super Bowl quarterback at this point? I sure as shit do not.
Like I said, that's such a weird. It's such a difficult question because Trent Dilfer won a Super Bowl. The Packers.
You know what I mean, though,
yes,
right?
but the Packers' defense on paper is very good. Yes, they had that game against the Cowboys, and they're giving up points. But on paper, they're good with Micah. The secondary, I think, should be better. I don't know what's going on.
I just don't trust the secondary.
I don't know. I mean, do I think when they get to the postseason, if Love, if they don't, I'm going to say no. I guess he's not a Super Bowl winning quarterback. Would be my answer. But I do think the Packers are a pretty good team.
You know what's funny,
and I don't think anybody just jumps off the page being great. Like, is Jared Goff that much better than Jordan Love? Right? You know what I mean?
Good point.
I don't know.
But I don't think Jared Goff's technically a Super Bowl winning quarterback either. And my reason why I don't think the Lions can win a Super Bowl is because of Jared Goff.
Yeah.
That said, look, Jordan Love's young, so he has more room for improvement than a guy like Goff.
Right.
But Love is so inconsistent to me. He has like the first half yesterday, they had 7 points, right? Or whatever. I think they finished with 7 or 10 points. They looked anemic, and then all of a sudden they pick it up in the second half.
Right.
But also, like, watching the game last night, there was a couple plays from Love that were like, he had one where he threw a chunk ball up to Tucker Kraft. It should have been an OPI, and it went for 70. He had another one where he chunked it up to Christian Watson. He made a one-handed catch. He kind of just gives his guys a chance. He's kind of Baker Mayfield-esque in that way, and I think that's why he's inconsistent.
My buddy's always said that about him. He puts the ball in harm's way too often.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. I mean, but, Matthew Stafford's notoriously done that his whole career, and, he won a Super Bowl with the Rams, and obviously the Rams had a very good defense, and, whatever. I think Matthew Stafford's obviously better than Love, too. But, yeah, I don't know. It's a very wide-open year. I do think the Packers will be in the mix in the NFC without a doubt. I think in the AFC it's the same old customers. I think it's either Chiefs or Bills coming out of there. So
funny enough, and it's why I don't necessarily love PFF for everything, even though they are good. They have the Packers #1 in coverage grade this year, and I've watched that secondary get torched multiple games. So I don't know.
I mean, that's why I say they should be good.
Although they do have Dallas ranked as the worst coverage team, so that they're accurate there. Their grade is 43. The Cowboys out of 100. The Packers is 81. So they're twice as good defensively from a grade.
Secondary is awful.
Steelers are 26th. Shout out Mike Tomlin. Okay, quickly, because we probably spent a little too much time on that. Let's preview some of the games from next week. Okay, you mentioned this. The slate next week is not good. We've only got a few even decent games, but let's preview the ones that are going to be good. We'll do it quickly. Okay, let's start with, do we even want to do Lions-Vikings? I mean,
nah, the Vikings. I mean, I assume J.J. McCarthy's coming back. I don't think it matters. Where's the game at?
It's in Detroit.
Detroit's they're going to lose.
Favorite.
Detroit's going to beat them.
Okay, let's go
they're favored by 9.5. Yeah, there you go.
Let's. By the way, rip Cam Scadaboo's ankle. That was disgusting.
What did they end up saying? Just
dislocated ankle, but done for the season. Immediate surgery, but it's
for
not.
Sure.
I just saw the ankle or the leg dangling there, and initially from Big Dog's reaction, I thought it was like a compound fracture, like Alex Smith. And so I was like, oh, that might be career-ending. Dislocated ankle sucks. And I've said this. Look, the play, dislocated ankle sucks, but he'll be back. The problem with Cam Scadaboo is, and I won't spend much time on this, but and not that this play even was the epitome of how he plays. It was kind of a weird little deal. It wasn't like he was running super hard and trying to drive his legs and something happened. It was just kind of a freak play. But when you put the force on your legs and you run with that reckless abandon that Cam Scadaboo runs with, it's just impossible to maintain that in the NFL. And I said that from the start. I said, I really like Scadaboo. I think he's going to be good. I just don't know how he lasts in this league more than a couple years because he doesn't know how to run any other way. We saw a very similar thing with Isaiah Pacheco. If you watch Isaiah Pacheco the first year and a half he ran with absolute reckless abandon, refused to go down, will fight for extra yards, driving his legs. He gets hurt, and he's not the same. And he gets hurt very, very early in his career. It's just too hard to run like that in the NFL for multiple years. It's why running backs in general don't last. So add in running the way he does and fighting for every extra inch and lowering his head. Take out the CTE and head injury factors. The wear on your legs and the physical toll on your legs is too much. And I think that maybe played a role in why he got an injury so quickly. That's just my opinion. I could be wrong.
I don't know. I mean, I didn't see the. I knew it wasn't like a play where he lowered his shoulder where he hurt his ankle, but yeah, no, he runs very hard. No doubt about it.
How about let's do Colts at the Steelers? Colts a 3.5-point favorite.
Yeah, the Colts will beat them.
You think the Colts win easily?
Yeah, I don't. Dude, it's the NFL. These games are so hard to pick. I would say the Colts just because the way they run. I will say this. The Steelers' run defense isn't that bad, and their secondary is terrible, so it's a game they could win. I don't think Danny Dimes is going to throw it all over the yard on them, but I'll take the Colts by a field goal on that one. Win, no cover.
I like the Colts to win that too. The line opened 2.5, quickly got bet to 3.5. So I think, look, the Steelers just aren't very good. I think the Colts the Colts have been too good offensively. I don't like that the number's that short, but yeah, I'll take the Colts. Broncos and the Texans in Houston. I actually think the Texans find a way to win here if Nico Collins plays.
Yeah,
if
I'd agree.
I think they need Nico Collins to play. And also, again, injuries, we're picking this on a Monday. What's Surtain's status, right? If Nico Collins plays and Surtain doesn't, I actually think that's a huge factor in determining this game.
Right. I would agree with that.
If vice versa, Surtain goes and Nico doesn't, it's going to be really tough for Houston to move the ball. So I'll say, barring Nico Collins playing, I like the Texans to win the game against Denver. Denver's due for a loss. Houston's on the uptick. I don't like Houston. I don't think the offense is that great. I think this is a good spot for them. And it's a must-win.
I'd take Houston in that one. I agree.
Okay. How about, let's see here.
The big one.
The big one.
Chiefs-Bills.
Chiefs at the Bills. Chiefs are a 1.5-point favorite in Buffalo. Now, Josh Allen, I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong here, isn't he undefeated against Mahomes in the regular season?
Oh, I don't know. I have no idea on that stat.
And he's winless in the playoffs? I could be wrong.
Certainly could be it. I'm not sure.
No, maybe I'm wrong.
I thought they beat the Chiefs
4-1. 4-1.
They beat the Chiefs that one game, right?
The Chiefs beat them that one game.
Yeah, but
they didn't beat the Chiefs in the playoffs.
Oh, they did.
He's never beaten
Not
Mahomes.
in the divisional series?
I don't think so.
Oh, okay. I thought he won one when they played in like the divisional series.
No, he's Mahomes is 4-0 against Allen in the playoffs. Allen's 4-1 against Mahomes in the regular season.
I'm hoping the Bills win the game. I think it'll just go over 51.
That's gonna go way over 51.
Yeah,
I'm betting that right now.
Yeah, no one ever gets stops in that game. So
I will say this too. It's weird if you normally in the NFL, I'm an under NFL guy. I've been betting almost solely overs this year.
And it seems like they've been hitting.
I
haven't been paying that close attention. But
I think some of these numbers are the markets are failing to adjust for what the offenses are doing, and everybody's going for more fourth downs. Field goals are being kicked from farther, right? So you're having to do less. And also, we're starting drives from closer on average, right? We're starting drives, any touchback is the 35-yard line. We're starting drives on average outside the 30-yard line. I just think there's a much easier chance to put up points in these games. So, if the damn Falcons and Dolphins had just gone over one more field goal in the first half, I'd have hit that $650 parlay. Okay, so you're picking. Did you pick the Chiefs to win the game?
Oh man, no, I'm gonna take the Bills to win. The regular season, like you said, in regular season, they're at home, and I think it's going to be like 34-31. Those games always end something like that.
Man, I want to take the Bills so bad, but I just can't. The Chiefs just look like the better team. I know it's on the road, and it's the NFL, and I think everybody's going to be on the Chiefs here, which scares me. I have a feeling this gets to like 2.5 here. I don't think it'll hit 3, but I think they're going to see money on the Chiefs. I'm going to take the Chiefs. I hope I'm wrong. I hope the Bills win. James Cook has been absolutely incredible this year.
Hopefully he keeps it going.
Yeah, he's been awesome. All right, how about them Cowboys Monday Night Football against the Cardinals? Cowboys going to win this week?
I'll take the Cowboys.
That's my man. Give me the Cowboys. They're going to win and cover. They win by a touchdown. Also I don't know, is Brissett? I don't know if Brissett or Kyler Murray's playing. I don't think it matters. Brissett might be better than Murray.
It doesn't matter.
Okay, let's go to some college football here. And we'll go to the top storyline, which is Brian Kelly fired in LSU. Now, I said it after the game that I thought he would be fired at the end of the season.
Right.
If they lost again, then he would be gone. Are you surprised?
No, I think this game for sure, halftime lead, the team quitting at home under the lights. I think writing was on the wall. Yeah, they could have waited till the end of the year. I think they were just like, let's get. And I think the big deciding factor too, which hurt him a lot, is that, someone touched on it, but if Penn State's willing to burn $50 million, then we're willing to burn
That's a good point.
million. And it's like, we're going to do it right now. We're going to get this over with. We're going to hire anybody. I did not think, and to touch on something, obviously, worst program fit. You have a Yankee Northerner from Massachusetts. He's a fucking asshole coaching on the Bayou. It just didn't work. It was a horrible fit. I'll never forget the cringeworthy recruiting videos and then him talking with a Southern accent at the basketball game when they first hired him. That was one of the greatest videos of all time. If you haven't seen it, look that up. But yeah, I mean, just horrible fit. Whoever hired him as the AD, he should be gone too. I don't know who it was. I don't know if he's still there, but he should be gone.
I'm pretty sure right now, and this is why a lot of people thought he might not get fired, they don't have a president of the university right now. Like, they don't currently have he got fired or
yeah, it's something like that, because I heard the governor tweeted out at Louisiana because apparently he appointed the whoever's on the board of regents or whatever's going on right now. And after they lost, he goes, "Oh, we should hike up ticket prices next year, something." And basically was just trying to get Brian Kelly out of there.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
I don't know. Writing was on the wall. He was always going to be gone. Why not just do it now? You're going into a bye week. Get rid of him and start over.
No,
I think the real reason they did it, in my opinion, is because they want Lane Kiffin. I don't think Lane Kiffin would have left to Florida. I think he will leave to LSU.
You do think he'll go to LSU?
I don't. I hope he doesn't. I hope Lane's learned his lesson and he's comfortable at Ole Miss. He's winning games at Ole Miss. I think it also kind of depends if they get in the playoff, but I do think that that's kind of why they made this move, because they want a shot at getting the best coach available. And if they waited towards the end of the year, and Florida's negotiating right now, and they're like, hey, we got to get rid of him so we can negotiate. But I do believe he would take the LSU job over the Florida job for sure.
Well, for sure. No, I agree with that. Like, if he's going to take one, I think this fucks Florida.
And I'm hoping and like I said, I'm hoping he stays at Ole Miss. I think it's working out great there. I think it's a great fit. There's far less pressure. I think he would be fine in LSU. I think they would like him a lot there, the new Lane Kiffin.
I think they'd win.
I think they would win.
I think he'd win a national championship.
Correct. So that's the dilemma. Does he think he can do it at Ole Miss? You know, I'm not entirely sure.
Yeah.
But they got a huge road win this year. But I think that's why you ultimately saw it happen with Brian Kelly this week, is they're like, hey, we have Florida out there poaching probably someone we want.
Yeah.
So let's just get this over with and let's see if we can get Lane. But it kind of weirdly seems like the Lane Kiffin sweepstakes now of like, is he going to leave Ole Miss or is he going to stay? So, and I don't know. I'm hoping he stays. I like what he's done with the Ole Miss program. I do think I would say it's like 50-50. Old Lane Kiffin would have been like already gone on the plane and at LSU with doing a presser. So, would have told his team, hey, I'm leaving. Yeah, like I said.
Now he's doing get ready with me videos with his daughter before the game.
Correct. Yeah. So hopefully he stays, but we'll
changed man. Okay, question. If you didn't see this, on Saturday, another coaching discussion.
Mm-hmm.
Texas is taking on Mississippi State. They're 5-2. They're off of back-to-back playoff appearances. They have Arch Manning, who has been largely disappointing this year, although he's playing a little bit better. But you have Arch, who was the number one recruit in the country. You're probably going to have him for 2 years. The season hasn't gone as well as everyone expected. You were number one in the country in the preseason, first time in school history, and you lose week one. You get upset by Florida, not looking nearly as good. You barely beat Kentucky. You barely skate by Kentucky last week. Now, on Saturday, there's a report that comes out that Steve Sarkisian, if or at least has interest, or if was asked, would leave to the NFL and is significantly interested in specifically the Tennessee Titans head coaching vacancy. Now, Sark came out after the Mississippi State win, which I'll get to in a minute because it was a crazy game, and adamantly denied it, said it was ridiculous that it was one person who said it, and that everybody jumped on it from that second forward, and he had to go have a conversation with his team and tell him it wasn't true on a game day, which was ridiculous. He was supposedly really pissed. But the report stated on Saturday, I was sitting there at Chester's reading it, that it was leaked by somebody in Steve Sarkisian's camp. It's very interesting. I will say this in his defense. It makes no sense to me if it's that would be true. From the perspective of, no offense, Bailey, but the Tennessee Titans job isn't all that appealing. Like, Cam Ward doesn't look that great. They fired their coach. What do they have going for them there where you're like, I want to leave a program where I'm getting the best recruits in the country. I get whatever I want. I'm treated like a god. I'm making $10 million a year, which, by the way, is more than I would make in the NFL. He's going to take a pay cut to go to the NFL, right? You don't have to recruit, but you're going to make less money. Because, I think they were showing the salary. He gets $10 million a year. He's going to get 5 in the NFL, 6, right, a year. Why on earth would you say specifically, if you were going to leak that you were interested in the NFL, it'd be one thing, but why would you specifically say that job? That's why I have questions about whether the report was true or not. Now, maybe not. Maybe he thinks, look, I came to Texas, I flipped the program, I've done nothing but win here, and now I don't like what I'm seeing from Arch. He's not what I thought he was. I'm going to have him for this year and next year. I don't think I can win a championship with him. And if that's the case, I'm 2 to 3 years away from now a rebuild again, finding a quarterback. I know how hard it is to win in the SEC. We're not in the Big 12 anymore. It's different. Every single game is a grind. I have to recruit. There's a lot of factors that go into it that make it make sense. There's a lot of factors that go in it to make it not make sense. What do you think? Do you think this is a true report?
I think that he's honestly putting his name out there and saying that, hey, I'm willing to field offers on it. I do believe that to be true, but
so you think it's real that he actually did leak it?
I don't know if he leaked it. I think someone from his camp
That's what I mean.
It.
That's what I mean.
But I do think that he's like not saying he wouldn't go coach of the NFL. Dude, it's just a far easier job with far less pressure.
Sure.
I mean, that's just the deal. It's like if he could, and now listen, he's not going to go from 10 to 5, but if someone was willing to pay him 8 or something, and he doesn't have to deal with recruiting and doesn't have to deal with the grind of dealing with SEC fan bases or whatever, I think it's possible because I do think that he does not think he can win with Arch Manning. I do believe that.
You think
I don't think that
even
he thinks
next year?
Yeah, I don't think he thinks he win a national championship with him. I think they could be better next year. I just don't think just the way this team looks right now. I mean, you're going to obviously get all kinds of recruits, obviously. But, I mean, are you going to be able to build back that much better in the portal that you're going to be better than Ohio State next year or whoever else, right? Or Bama or Georgia?
Here's what I would say. I don't disagree with you, but it's so much turnover now. It's not like, we have a horrible offensive line this year, which is I think is the biggest factor.
Right.
We don't have as good of receivers. We don't have a great offensive line. It's just different. You can flip that in one season nowadays in college. And I would say this. If you watch Quinn Ewers the first year he started for Texas, he was atrocious. He was horrible in some of those games. And Texas was a couple plays away from playing for a national title back-to-back years. Really, one play both years away from playing for a national title. And if they got to a national title in both years, they probably would have been favored in those games. Maybe not against Michigan. It would have been a pick 'em maybe. They would have been a short dog, but they would have been favored against Notre Dame last year. And so you're right there on the doorstep of winning a title. If you fix those things, maybe he really doesn't believe he can win with Arch Manning. I would say this, and I've been disappointed in what I've seen from Arch. I think a lot of this, and I'm one who's been a big Sarkisian backer. I've thought going into this year he was a top 3 to 5 coach in college football. I think he's done a bad job this year. I think he's done a poor job. Heck of a win on Saturday, down 17 in the fourth quarter against Mississippi State. They're finding ways to win, and I think that's the sign of a good coach. Whereas James Franklin, when the going gets rough, loses to Northwestern, right? Loses to UCLA as a 33-point favorite. Whereas Texas finds a way to win on the road in Kentucky, finds a way to win on the road in Mississippi State. So they obviously like him. They play hard for him. He is a good coach. But from a play calling standpoint, I think he's done a poor job this year. I think surrounding Arch with talent, he's done a poor job this year. And so it would be a shitty thing for the going to get rough all of a sudden and to dump and leave now.
Yeah, but it wouldn't surprise me at all. I think that's in Sarkisian's DNA.
Question.
I don't think he...
By the way,
I don't think that he's like bought into... Like, do I really think that he's like super into the Texas football culture? I'm worried about bringing him a national championship. No, I don't. But I've never thought that about the guy.
Well, maybe not, but
he's a good football coach.
By the way, he is set to make almost $13 million in his last year of his contract at Texas. So, I mean, how much is an NFL team going to pay a guy who's never been a head coach?
Wait, does he only have 1 year left on his deal?
No. But he's got till 2032, I believe.
Oh, okay. That's what I was like. I mean,
he signed because he signed an extension when they were recruiting people for the Alabama head job. He signed an extension with Texas that year.
And by the way, that's another great topic for conversation. These extensions have gotten out of fucking control. These schools owing these coaches $50 million to go away is nuts. I think you'll see that slowly go away.
Has to.
And be like, oh yeah, if you want to leave, go ahead. Whatever. I mean, make the buyout of their contract expensive so you're winning as a university, but having these guys locked up for 10 years is the dumbest shit in the entire world.
It makes no sense, especially...
The only one that I've ever seen, make sense, in the last 10 years of Cignetti. You're Indiana and you're fucking horrible. And he's, and he's turned the whole program around. And it's like, sure, dude, you can stay here as long as you want.
You're never firing him.
You're never firing him. So it's like, you just pray he doesn't leave. But the Brian Kellys or even the Sarks, I think Sark is a good coach. I wouldn't have signed him till, he could, fall off the wagon. He could start drinking again. I mean, I don't mean that in a disrespectful way. I'm just saying things happen, and I'm not giving anybody not named Nick Saban or like a Cignetti who went to Indiana and has turned them into the number 2 team in the country for back-to-back years. He can get whatever he wants.
He currently Sark's buyout $60.3 million.
That's what I'm saying. So it's just
absurd.
It's gotten ridiculous. And like I said, I don't necessarily think Sark is looking to get out right now. I'm not saying that, but I think he is open to the opportunity. Dude, college, and he's been in the NFL. He's had a taste of it. When you know what the NFL is like compared to coaching in college and dealing with all the bullshit, it's like 10 times less work.
Sure.
It's like, okay, is he really going to go from, let's just say the 10 or whatever he's making on average, an 11 to 8 if someone were to offer him that? I think he absolutely would.
I will say the recruiting, I think, toll on a head coach nowadays has become less with NIL because money is more important and you have assistants doing a lot of the legwork. He may fly in to close recruits or little things. So I will say, compared to 5 years ago, right, it's not the same. You know, where you're flying all over the place the day after the national championship. Now you're trying to figure out who's staying, who's leaving, money, all different things. But you have guys helping you with that. So I agree, though. I mean, you're 100% right. It's a complete different job. You're dealing with grown men, not children. They're, especially in today's day and age of college, where you have the best coaches in college retiring and getting out because you win a national championship like Ohio State, and the next day your defensive coordinator takes a job at your rival school. Like, it just doesn't make any sense what's going on. So I get that.
I also think the thing with Sarkisian too is like he's not super old, right? Was he in his 50s?
He's in his 50s, yes.
Yeah. So if say he goes to the Titans or goes to another NFL franchise, is there for 3 years, right? And it doesn't work out.
He's 51.
And it doesn't work out, he could come right back into the SEC.
Sure.
No, not with Texas, but I'm just saying like with someone like, an Ole Miss or like a middle of the road, an Arkansas, like he could come right back in.
Hypothetical.
If he needed to.
Sark goes to the NFL.
Right.
Texas opens. Lane is sitting there.
Yeah, but he wouldn't be sitting there. He wouldn't be sitting there at that point.
Let's say he is. Here's why he could. Because Ole Miss is, with the win last week, could be going to the playoff.
Right.
So let's say Texas doesn't go to the playoff. Well, Sark's out at that point, and Lane has not taken a job yet. So Texas is open, LSU is open. You already said you think he would take LSU over Florida. You think he goes to Texas or LSU?
It just depends on the money and stuff. Probably Texas. I mean, they have more resources, but I mean, I don't know. I mean, I just think that he's going to be scooped up before that. Like, I think you'll hear. I think that if he does take it, and these schools offer him and he wants it, I think you won't see him. I think he won't quit on the team. He'll try to, he'll stay, but I think you'll see it announced.
Well,
I don't think the schools are going to sit around and be like, and you'll hear it leaked, even if there's an agreement, behind closed doors in today's age and, information.
I have a hard time believing that if they go to the playoff that he's going to make any deal before that. I just don't think that's, I don't think that's even possible.
I would hope that he wouldn't. But I'm not saying, what I'm saying is not a deal publicly, like I'm leaving.
No, I know, but I would just be surprised.
Oh, yeah, he's going to Florida, and that's what the rumor is.
If he was we don't even know if he wants to leave, so that's why I think it's like, for me.
If I were him, I would not.
I'm thinking about it, and I'm like, okay, why would I not focus on winning a national title and where I am now? And like you said, Old Lane might have taken this. I think in what's going on, you look at their schedule. South Carolina at home, the Citadel at home, Florida at home, at Mississippi State. They're going to win out. They're going to be 11-1 and probably be playing in the SEC title game depending on what happens with Bama, Georgia, A&M. Going to be a very crowded top of the SEC and Vandy. But to me, there's no way they're not playing in the playoff now with that win last week over Oklahoma. And I just don't see a way that he's going and talking to LSU in the middle of what he thinks. I mean, look, the way the college football landscape looks right now, and we can talk about this, there's 15 teams that can win a national championship right now. I mean, there is nobody who's a dead set favorite. And so
right, that's why if I were him, I just stayed Ole Miss.
Right, so there's no reason to think Ole Miss can't win a national title this year. It's possible. They could be playing all the way into January. So that's why I think whatever jobs do open, he's going to have his pick of the litter if he wants to leave. Now, I don't think he should. I don't know if he will. I would agree. It's probably 50-50. If they go to the college football championship or semifinals, why would he leave? But then again, if Texas offers him a bunch of money or LSU offers him a bunch of money, maybe he does. I don't think Sark's leaving Texas anyway. I was just curious your thoughts on that.
I don't think he's leaving either. I'm just saying that I guarantee you he's inquired about it because it's so much less work. And if he's like, I can get almost that same amount of money.
Sure.
He just doesn't, to me, seem like he's that, like a Saban that wants to have a dynamic. He just doesn't give off those vibes to me. He's like a good football coach. He typically is a pretty good play caller. He's been terrible this year and abandoned the screen game. And anyway, but yeah.
All right, I'm gonna rapid fire through some headlines from college football this last week, and then we'll be done.
All right, let's hear them.
Give me like three words to describe this, if you can. This might be okay. Give me one sentence to describe this. Each headline, and then we'll do a short 1 minute talk on each one. Ready? Texas trailing by 17 with under 10 minutes to go in the fourth quarter comes back to take down the Mississippi State Bulldogs. In heartbreaking fashion, Mississippi State loses another SEC game. Texas escapes.
Who cares? Texas fucking sucks. Mississippi State just can't get out of their own way. I feel horrible. What's his name? Libby there?
Yeah.
He's doing a fantastic job.
He's doing such a good job.
He's turned the entire culture up. Those guys play well. And, dude, you know what it really reminds me of? It's like the Dan Campbell of in the SEC. It's like they were so close they couldn't win, and he's going to win, and everybody's going to start crying. And then next year, I think you see maybe three SEC wins, something like that, and just gradually getting better and better. But he's done a fantastic job there.
I hope that that's correct, and I hope that they don't quit on him, and if they do, they're stupid.
Yeah, they won't. They won't.
Stupid.
He's just got that.
This is year one.
If they were going to quit, year two.
Year two, okay.
But if they were going to quit on, they would have already done it. I mean, these games they've come out and played so hard.
No. I mean the administration quit on him. We're done.
No. They love him.
Okay.
I've heard, whatever. Brandon Walker's Mississippi State. Everybody loves the guy. It's just they can't get over the hump. But that's what it really feels like to me. It's now, are they going to be take over the SEC? No. But I think you're going to see them be
competitive.
Competitive. Yeah. Definitely competitive going forward. The guy's a good football coach.
Texas A&M dominates LSU at night. Obviously, we already talked about Brian Kelly getting fired.
Right.
Any take on that?
Yeah, A&M is good.
They're
three
good.
words. They're good.
They're good.
Are they going to win the national championship? No, but they're good. I think they can. I think they can win a playoff game.
They probably
on
can.
Who they're playing. The defense is
okay.
The offense could score with anybody.
The offense
is a juggernaut because they're just so hard to stop with Reed running it. Their running backs are really good. Concepcion's really good.
Their receivers are
amazing.
They're the second. They're the second best receiving core in the country, in my opinion, behind Miami.
Yeah.
That paired with the fact that Marcel Reed can run. I don't think he's a great passer, but he does enough with his arm. And the receivers making incredible catches and just getting the ball to the receivers in space. They're really hard to stop. I agree with you 100%. If I was ranking, I think they're ranked where they should be. I don't think they're better than Ohio State. I don't think they're better than Indiana right now. But I do think that they're and look, and you call me a hater here. They've played nobody. That is the truth. And they play the easiest schedule in the SEC. They don't play Ole Miss. They don't play Alabama. They don't play Georgia. They don't play Vanderbilt. They play none of the top SEC teams. Their toughest game is going to be at Texas. They got to play this week against LSU, which is the worst version of LSU we've seen in the last decade. And then you get to play against Missouri next week on the road, who just lost their quarterback for the season. So they've caught a lot of breaks. In my opinion, they probably finished the season 12-0. I don't see a loss on their schedule. I don't think Texas beats them the last game of the season. That's me being honest. I would be surprised if A&M... Now, I hope they lose at least to Missouri, or I hope they lose at least to Texas. Now, I think they will lose in the SEC title game, and I think they'll lose in the playoff in the first or second round, but because they'll play somebody good finally. But in my opinion, they're ranked around where they should be. They're having a great season. Unbiasedly, they're a top 5 team in the country. And I don't believe in the defense fully yet because I've seen Arkansas put up 42 on them a week ago.
No, the defense is just good enough, though, because their front four is so good that, like, to get a couple turnovers or whatever, and the offense is good enough to just put up points with anybody. But, yeah, the defense
they're all right.
Is pretty average.
All right, how about Georgia Tech wins again, still undefeated.
Haynes King's a man.
I'm going to combine that with Virginia escapes North Carolina, remains undefeated in the ACC. Now listen to this. Here's the remaining schedules.
Here's my 3 words.
Well, just
2 words. Virginia frauds. Virginia is not very good.
Understand, I agree with you. They're not very good, but listen to this. Remaining schedule. At Cal versus Wake Forest, at Duke versus Virginia Tech. Right. Probably won't win out, but let's say they do. Okay? Then you go Georgia Tech. Georgia Tech's remaining schedule in the ACC because they have Georgia the last week.
All right.
At NC State, at Boston College versus Pittsburgh. I would say there is a greater than 0 chance that both teams win out and play for an ACC title game.
Yeah.
What if that happens? Virginia's 11-1. Georgia Tech's 12-0. Virginia beats Georgia Tech in the ACC championship game. I know it's a crazy scenario. Both of them go to the playoff?
Yeah, and Miami. There'll be 3 ACC teams.
That would be a nightmare for the SEC.
Yeah, they put 3 ACC teams.
Now, I think Virginia will lose. Here's what I think will happen. Virginia will lose 1 game, at least.
I would think
Georgia Tech will lose the last game to Georgia. So both of those teams will then have 2 or 1 loss. 2 loss, Virginia's out. Georgia Tech, if they only lose to Georgia, the ACC championship won't matter. They'll be in anyway. And then Miami, depending on if they win and lose another game, will be in if they're 11-1, no matter what. And they'll get 2 teams in. I think that's what's going to happen. I think Georgia Tech and Miami get in.
3 could be, and it'd be a nightmare.
Be a nightmare for
shit, dude. Look at freaking Louisville has what, 1 loss?
Louisville, oh yeah, I didn't even think about that.
And they beat Miami. So what happens? It's going to be a cluster. They'll be petitioning to get 3 teams in at the end.
They still have 5 games left. They still have Virginia Tech on the road, versus Cal, versus Clemson, at SMU, and then they play Kentucky the last game of the season. I think Louisville will lose 2 or 3 more games. I don't think they're very good.
Oh, they'll lose at least 1.
At least 1. I think they're going to lose 2 games at least. Okay, last couple ones. How could we leave this out? Vanderbilt inches literally by Missouri. Give me your one sentence there. To improve to 7-1.
One sentence of this one.
I can give you one.
Yeah, go ahead.
Playoff bound, baby. Commodores, playoff bound.
Yeah, I think they're gonna go to the playoff. I actually thought they would. I thought they would handle Missouri easier than they did.
Yeah, they didn't play
frankly.
well.
They didn't play great, but they won the game. That's all that matters. And the SEC just winning games. That's all that matters.
Now I will say it was a horrifically officiated game. And Vanderbilt came up with a massive stop on the play that hurt Pribula. That stand at the 1-yard line was impressive. I was disappointed that they got a 7-point lead and allowed Missouri to tie the game with that backup quarterback. That said, that's grasping at straws there, nitpicking for Vanderbilt, right? I thought Clark Lee didn't coach the best game against Missouri. I think he's a phenomenal football coach. I think there were a few decisions I didn't like. But Bailey's right, and I said this during the game. It was a horrifically officiated game. Thank God the guy was an inch short because I couldn't believe they actually overturned that to a catch. I think if you were asking me, is it a catch? Is it more likely a catch or more likely not a catch? I would say it's more likely a catch because I didn't see the ball actually hit the ground. But the fact that they called it incomplete on the field, went back and said, no, it is a catch on the Hail Mary at the end, was wild. All 3 commentators were saying that it's incomplete, and then they said it's a catch, but he's short. Thank God he was short because that would have been disaster because Missouri would have gone for 2 and it would have come down to 1 play.
I thought he caught it, but I turned the channel right away to the Alabama game because he was short.
He was short anyway.
You could tell that he was like a half a foot short.
Vanderbilt, Texas this week. Does Vandy take down UT?
I would think so, but who knows? UT's squirrely as fuck. They're terrible, but they find a way to win.
BYU comes back from 14 down, stays undefeated. The Mormons keep winning.
Yep.
Mormon Magic.
Yep. Mormon Magic.
Okay, let's see. We already talked about Ole Miss picks up a huge win at Oklahoma.
Huge win. By the way, Is Tennessee's quarterback hurt? Why the fuck is Tennessee only 2.5-point favorites at home and night against Oklahoma this week? Why is that the line?
They give a lot of credit to Oklahoma. Wait, you're telling me they're going to Cincinnati, Utah? Game day's going to Cincinnati, Utah? Are you kidding me?
They have to mix it up, though, Baylor. They can't go SEC every week.
Well, they should.
Agree. Well, I get it. I mean, they should, but they have to mix it up.
I can't believe that. That's actually wild. What a horrible game.
Tennessee's going to kill Oklahoma.
Utah's going to kill Cincinnati. They're like a 9-point favorite.
Shout out Mr. Mack who texted me like 5 times before the Cincy Baylor game.
He kept texting both of us.
He's like, I want $25 Bears points.
Did you take it?
I go, no. I go, you always want it straight up when we take it, so you got to take it straight up. He goes, fine, Bears +2. And I go, okay, fine. And I saw that Cincinnati smoked them, right?
They beat the living shit out of them.
I wasn't even paying attention.
They're going to fire Dave Aranda. They're 4-4 now. They're horrible.
Fun prediction for you, just so I can be right on the show. Dave Aranda gets fired, and Baylor hires James Franklin as their next football coach.
That's what Ryan and Kevin are hoping for.
I think that's actually going to happen. Because
you do?
Yeah, because I don't think any super major program is going to take them, and I think that is actually a pretty good fit in the grand scheme of things.
I feel like
12.
Well, no, I agree, and they need somebody who's
going to make the playoff a decent amount.
And there's that's a guy who you're like for a Baylor where it's like you need somebody who can rebuild the culture and the program. He can do that. He'll win 9-10 games there.
Right.
But the only reason I think it might not happen is I think James Franklin thinks higher of himself. Like I think he thinks he's a big major I think he thinks like Florida. That's what he's thinking.
Yeah, but those you
don't think he has any shot to get those?
No,
okay.
I don't. I think Florida boosters would be irate if Florida or any of these boosters that paid a buyout. Like, we're hiring a guy that another university paid $50 million to go away? No, we're not doing that. So I think Baylor hires him.
I have to quickly mention, because I said BYU, the YMCA conference that is the Big 12. Cincinnati remains perfect in Big 12 play after they beat Baylor. That was one of these.
Cincinnati would fucking throat punch Texas.
Houston gets a road upset over Arizona State. Willie Fritz has the boys playing good.
And the boys.
7-1. Houston. Okay, last one, and we're done. South Florida. Upset by Memphis a week after Memphis was upset as a 23.5-point favorite at home against UAB. The group of 5 race has now become extremely interesting because you have Memphis sitting there with 1 loss who just beat South Florida. South Florida is probably a better team and has a better resume than Memphis, but Memphis now beat them head-to-head, and South Florida now has 2 losses because they already lost to Miami. They're probably going to rematch in the 8th American Championship at some point. Boise's sitting there with still, I believe, 2 losses. Is that right? They lost to South Florida and Notre Dame.
Yeah, they've lost 1.
UNLV has 1 loss, but it's to Boise. So we have like this weird scenario where like the group of 5 teams who have lost 1 game have also lost that game to a better team that have 2 losses. So it's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. Who do you think ultimately gets the group of 5 bid? Memphis, South Florida. You have Tulane, who has 1 loss still. You have
I wouldn't be
Navy
surprised.
is undefeated.
I wouldn't be surprised if it's James Madison.
Really?
They've been rolling. They've only got 1 loss. And their
to
1
Louisville?
loss is to Louisville at Louisville. That was a close game.
The only thing is they
play
ranked.
Texas State. They play Texas State tomorrow on one of those Tuesday games at Texas State.
It is tomorrow.
And that game could go. It's funny. James Madison's favored by 7. I feel like that game could go either way.
I kind of think Texas State might win.
I know. That's what I'm saying. It's a big game for them, but if they somehow win that. I mean, there's nobody. Look, Memphis is ranked 25, right? But James Madison, I guarantee you, if you look, is like the next team out.
So you think they could actually be ranked higher than all those teams? Because that's what has to happen,
if they
right?
run the table.
If they run the table and win the conference championship, they would have to be ranked above all of those teams.
Correct, but I think they could be like Memphis. Let's see who they still have left. Navy's going to lose to Notre Dame. They'll probably
Navy's schedule's tough if you look the rest of the way.
Memphis still has to play Tulane and Navy. They'll lose one of those games.
Yeah, and
they're not going to win both of them.
Tulane still has to go to Memphis, to Temple, who's not bad, to UTSA. They already have 1 loss. So like if Memphis, Tulane, and if Memphis or Tulane each lose 1 more, now they each have 2 losses.
Correct.
Navy's schedule is tough enough to where I don't think they're going to win. They're not. At North Texas, at Notre Dame, versus South Florida, at Memphis, versus Army. They're going to lose 2.
That's right. That's why
everybody
I just think
in the American could end up with 2
probably
losses.
The best
Well, what about
Shot
North
alone.
Texas? North Texas, who do they have left? Navy, UAB, Rice, and Temple. They run the table. They're 11-1.
Navy, UAB, Rice, and Temple. Oh, yeah. It'd be awesome if North Texas got
I mean,
in.
that'd be cool.
I'm rooting for them. Yeah, that'd be sweet.
And
And
then-
James Madison could certainly slip up, too. They beat the hell out of Old Dominion this last week. And this game at Texas State is not an easy game. That's a game. It just depends if these Texas State guys quit on the season. We'll see.
I will also say the one thing I don't want to see happen is a 10-2 Boise State team get in.
No.
That would be so annoying. Like if James Madison goes 11-1 or some of these American teams are 10-2, Boise plays nobody. The only good teams they play, they lost. They lost to South Florida. They lost to Notre Dame. They have nobody on their schedule
No,
who's remotely good.
If James Madison goes 11-1 or North Texas goes 11-1, they're getting over the 2-loss Boise, in my opinion.
Yeah. Oh,
I think
and
that's
one other team who's weirdly in the mix because they lost to Washington State early in the year by 20. San Diego State's now 6-1. And their remaining schedule: Wyoming, Hawaii, Boise State, San Jose State, and New Mexico. They run the table and beat Boise State, which they get that game at home. And they go 11-1. They're in the mix right there.
Yeah.
They'll be in the Mountain West Championship game. I mean,
Right.
it's gonna be the more one of the more wild finishes to see who gets into the group of 5. I think it's an interesting talking point. As
No
we see
doubt.
the next couple of weeks, we're gonna see like who emerges as the top 3 or 4 contenders to get there. But there's so many different routes you can go with how the schedules play out. And you only have one bid for all those teams.
Yeah.
It's kind of interesting. So
That'll be a fun race to
yeah.
see what happens there.
All right, that's all we got for this show. Episode 99 in the books. We'll be back next week for episode 100. That's right, our 100th episode. Jeremiah is supposedly coming on the
Yeah,
show.
we'll
I don't
see.
believe it.
We'll see.
I'll believe it when I
We'll
see it.
believe it when you see him.
I'll believe it when I see it. That's about as likely as a big dog prediction coming true. It's just very, very
It's true. He's a
unlikely.
flake. He's a
lot
flake.
of delusion there. Thank you guys for tuning in. Like, subscribe, comment, all that good stuff, and we will catch you guys next week.